And so it begins. Can Russia hold the peninsula? Or will Nubia just walk in because this is all flat desert land that's very easy to fight on? We shall find out, ladies and gentlemen, we shall find out. Nubia are just, they're royally winning the diplomacy here. Made peace with Russia just when they've got Mumbai, just to make the loyalty settle down, and it means they can take Brussels just over the next few turns. And now they're going after India and have taken half the strength of the city in one go because these cavalry beat elephants. I'm not entirely sure I believe that, to be honest. I think the cavalry have probably got guns, which are the things that will beat the elephants rather than the horses, but you'd normally expect an elephant to beat a horse. I guess, though, the elephant probably isn't as quick as the horse, so... Oh, it's a good question, that. A very interesting question. Do you think Russia are getting involved with India? There's a couple of frigates and caravels here, and the fact that Russia are starting to settle on top of where India currently are. All of these things just add up to the fact that Russia wants to declare war on India. Whether they will or not is another question. No, Russia declaring war on Nubia. But look at that spread of army across everywhere. I don't know if they might have just spread themselves too thin there, Russia. It's going to be real tough. Although look, warrior monks actually being used in battle. That's really good to see. You so rarely see warrior monks actually being used, and wow. Okay, the Russian Navy is what might win the day for them. Okay, yeah, that's very strong. If I were Nubia, I'd get rid of India super quick and just concert their forces around this Russian attack, because of everybody, I think it's Russia who are the highest threat. Australia don't really have too many troops. Lots of cities, but not many troops. And Mapuche, I think, are starting to fall behind in tech, although they do have their cavalry unit, their raider unit, but I don't know how that's going to go. India and Nubia making peace. Oh, and Mumbai is liberated as well. Okay, fine. So India have actually managed to put a nice sandwich between the war of Nubia and Russia here. Let's see how that works out. Fortunately for Russia, they did lose a load of troops behind these front lines when that blockade was put in, and India are just going to end up losing that city anyway, and it'll flip back to, I would say back to Nubia, but I don't know. Let's see how this works. Has anyone else noticed how this Pangaea looks a little bit like a weird Pangaea version of the Earth? Like it's slightly on a tilt. You've kind of got Europe up here, you've got sort of Spain and France down there, and you kind of go down and you've kind of got Italy and Greece, and it comes up, and you've got Russia up here, and it all goes towards sort of like, it kind of skips a bit where India should be, and maybe you've got like Korea and China. It's like, I know it's a little bit of a squished version of the Earth, but it looks a little bit similar. Do you not think? I thought so. Anyway, Mapuche is starting to make a little bit of ground so Mapuche is beginning to make a little bit of ground on Nubia right now, and I have a feeling it's because these raiding units are super tough. Nubia have got to get their tech on. If they can bring these to tanks, they're going to have this under control, but until then, this is Mapuche's time to counter. Nubia and Russia do making peace, just as Russia's army were coming and starting to hit Oslo. And actually Oslo is being a pain, but you can't help but feel that Nubia are going to steal it back. It's just whether or not India is going to fall. No, Russia are going to go after India. I kind of thought this might happen. I was surprised that Russia declared war on Nubia when they did. But this is a way for Russia to get back into the game. They are not out, and actually Australia too. Australia building ironclads, so clearly the technology is there for Australia. It's just whether or not they can build an army and attack anywhere here. Nubia declaring war on India as well, so India being doubled up from two sides. Who's going to split the spoils of the cities? We'll find out soon enough. Oh, Nubia just doing their thing. They've taken the Indian capital. They managed to pinch it before Russia did, and I have a feeling Mumbai might end up getting taken as well. But yeah, Russia don't like that. Russia are declaring war on Nubia, and they better do this quickly, because Nubia at the moment, they've got 4 capitals. 4 capitals, that's absolutely huge. They might lose this one to Mapuche though. Mapuche very, very ably counterattacking and causing all kinds of 3-city issues in the middle of this map as their raid units come and just start killing these Nubian cities. And all the pillaging, all the troop killing. Nubia just don't have many troops in this area of the map. Mapuche might start to be able to counter here. Is Nubia going to collapse? Is it going to capitulate in itself? Have we got the game's equivalent of Rome here? Spreading over, taking over most of the map and then not being able to contain itself. It just disintegrates, the empire falling apart like strands. Who knows? What a great final though. This is really, really interesting. And India's out of the game. Russia are gonna... Oh, Russia brought Norway back. Okay, cool, Norway are back in the game. I was about to say India, first people out, Gandhi just couldn't survive. Oh, what a bad wild card pick that proved to be, eh? And Mapuche beginning to get pushed back by, well, the own counter from Nubia here. The cavalry units are starting to push back, and I feel like Nubia are just one technology upgrade away from really winning this war. Just tanks and they could win. Australia playing the quiet game, which is interesting. I normally do play peacefully, to be fair. It's domination only, so you kind of hope they wouldn't just play peacefully, but yeah, maybe they're just waiting for that war declaration to get that extra production. Who knows? It's a shame Mapuche don't have more of an empire here, because they've gone to peace with Nubia. But these wars, these units, these raider units coming in and just killing random Nubian troops, the loyalty issues are just hilarious. These 3 cities just keep popping up everywhere. I like to see Mapuche being used properly. It's really, really cool to see. Nubia, though, having massive loyalty issues on the fringes of their empire here, and I think you just get the idea that they're in a dark age, potentially. No real loyalty pressure. They're starting to lose cities, every sort of location that they can at the moment. Look, there's more starting to rebel over on this front as well. All 3 are going to rebel. So, yeah, Nubia have gone from 4 capitals to 2. We'll see if they can pull this one back into it. I think Norway will get killed very quickly. It's just a case of whether Nubia could push, in theory, and take Russia, which I don't know if they can. Ooh, someone was going to declare a war on Australia at some point, but it's Mapuche. Was that a good move? I mean, Australia has gunpowder units, and these raider units are kind of gunpowder equivalent. I just don't know whether it's going to work, because, yeah, what's going to happen here? Russia declaring war on Norway as well. That was short-lived. Norway, of course, being brought back into the game by Russia, and Nubia declaring war on Australia. So Australia being double declared on. Will they survive this? I think probably they will, although it does look like Nubia are the ones that are putting the troops into Australian lands here. So we'll see if these bombard units you can see by Sydney are going to be enough to do some decent damage to Sydney's walls, or whether or not they'll just move all of their troops towards Canberra pointlessly. See how that works. So Russia picking up Norway's capital. So currently, people in first place, joint Russia and Nubia, both with 2 capitals each, and Australia with 1. And Mapuche's capital is actually it's a 3 city, technically. So, not so good. Not so good to them. I just realised the one thing I didn't do was move this to online speed, so we've actually been playing on standard speed this entire time. I mean, not ideal in terms of the fact that it's going to take me longer to film this than I kind of wanted to, but good in the sense that at least the final is epic, you know, and the fact that Russia are beginning to pick up a head of steam here. Oh my god, Oslo will fall eventually, and will they start to push into Nubian heartlands? Will they come anywhere near the pyramids that are over here? Who knows? Well, the Mapuche Australian side of the war didn't go anywhere. And Russia does declare war on Nubia, so Nubia is currently still at war with Australia and also with Russia now. Russia really going to do damage to them, but Nubia have started producing high-tech units. These submarines are tough, and actually Nubia now have infantry units as well. So, yeah, I think Nubia might have the tech advantage here. If they can just pull some of these high-grade troops to the front lines, infantry will eat through pikemen. I tell you what, a couple of submarines in the 7th Sea here, and Russia's navy's been scattered. It's amazing what an underwater metal vessel that can shoot explosive torpedoes will do against wooden ships. It makes you think. Makes you think, that one. Turn 244, and we've pretty much got peace everywhere now. So Nubia, now at peace. The Empire has taken a little bit of the battering and actually has been pushed back on all fronts. Australia claiming Sydney and its peripheral cities back, Mapuche being able to push right back to their capital, and Russia taking over the Norway lands and then some of India's sort of periphery lands as well. So Nubia are still by and large and way out in front as the highest civilization of the game at the moment, but Russia really coming back into the game. I don't know whether they'll be able to sort of push and become the leaders, because they would have to take a lot of these Nubian cities, but it's possible. If they take a big war and get a bit of a tech lead, you never know what might happen. So we've skipped forward maybe 25 turns, and just kind of as we were suggesting, the real difference as kind of the skirmishes happen, Australia and Mapuche had one, Nubia and Australia are currently having one. The tech advantage is such a big thing. Nubia have just flicked over to using infantry and also tank armies. I was about to say this could get really interesting, but no, just proving they've got the tech advantage, Nubia feels like it's got to make peace. So ignore all that. I was about to say something really interesting, but clearly the game has other ideas. Yep, let's just skip forward until something else happens. And this is the problem sometimes in these games. You have all of these aggressive early game wars, and the game gets a little bit more cultured and civilized later in the game. That's better. Nubia declared war on Mapuche. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, Mapuche. Let's see you deal with infantry. What's going to happen here? Well, it's been another 20 turns of pretty much nothing happening, but every now and then something weird happens, like Nubia declaring war on Australia and Russia at the same time. An ambitious, bold statement of a move. They do have an infantry army, helicopter armies, and tank armies right now, so Nubia are beginning to really tech up. It's just unfortunate because every time Nubia look like they're about to make a breakthrough, and you know, here for instance, take over that city with some huge army, they seem to just sort of pull it back at the last minute. I mean, this army looks a little bit better than previous ones, but again, Australia's cities have like 100 strength. Not entirely sure how they've done that because they don't have any units of that tech level. Maybe battleships? I guess Australia have battleships, that's probably how they've justified that, but still. Yeah, Nubia are going to have to bring a lot more siege equipment because even helicopters are just going to bounce off walls at 100 strength. It's not going to work well for them, but Russia's cities might have a little bit more luck. Cossacks, as good as they are not going to stand against tank armies. So, it's turn 300. I've been sat here 35 turns? 40 turns now? And it's getting slow. It's like any game in Civ 6, you know, you start playing it for a little while and oh my god, the computer just massively slows down and nothing's happening. I haven't been able to say anything for so long because every time I try and report in on, oh look, something's happened, just nothing happens. You know, it's just one of those games. Civ 6 really infuriates me. Like, I really enjoy these tournaments. I hope you guys do as well. I've tried to make little games, little enclosed spaces that hopefully the computer can get over its problems and fight itself, you know? Sometimes when you give it a really, really big map, it gets a little bit confused about what it's going to do. So by limiting what the computer can do, I kind of want to speed it up and do little things, but the AI on this game is so bad. So bad. It can't take cities, it can't do anything. I'm at my wit's end. Are you guys still enjoying these Civ 6 battles? Because it just feels like such a broken game to me. Like, I could be playing something else. I could be doing Hearts of Iron. I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there doing Hearts of Iron, but at least the computer does something on that game. I could be playing just all kinds of other stuff. I've got about 20 games that I haven't even opened yet that I really want to play, and I feel like if I keep switching around my content too much, then, you know, it's not good for the growth of the channel and everything. But maybe I should just do it because I'm still new, still fresh. I haven't got too avid a following. But I mean, I'm gonna have to almost call this game because just nothing's happening. I mean, it's turned 300. I was stupid to put it on standard. I might just leave this running for a couple of hours and see if anything happens on it. But yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Let's just check in. I'm gonna give it 100 turns, 150 turns, see what happens. So just as I start to get really salty with Civ 6 being absolutely useless, and I still maintain that it is, this game is heating up. We are on turn 374? Thereabouts. It'll flash up in a second, just keep an eye out. it's all starting to kick off. Nubia have just been actually succeeding in wars, being able to push their troops to a decent amount. You can see, look, they've actually taken a couple of cities from Australia down here, Maitland, Sydney, both being recently taken, and you can see the troops are now being pushed down. There you go, 376. Canberra has lost a third of its wall. Also Adelaide pretty much down onto 0 health as well, but that's not even the biggest development. Look, Mapuche has almost vanished in a succession of wars with Nubia. Nubia managed to actually push them back, just taking one city at a time, one city at a time. They finally did what we thought they were going to do. They broke through and managed to take a couple of city-states, liberating them all, which caused the loyalty of the empire just to flake apart, and Mapuche just disintegrated. And essentially what's happening is Nubia will wait a couple of turns, wait for the city-state to, well, kind of do their thing, and then they'll just end up going and taking them over. So, yeah, Nubia just utterly destroying Mapuche. Mapuche just a shadow of themselves, so they are effectively out of the game as India sort of got taken ages ago. And you can see here, look at this, Nubia really doing well in the battle against Russia as well. So they've taken a load of these perimeter cities. Again, the tanks just withstanding assault against these helicopters very well. They did, and they have frequently taken over the capital of Norway. They haven't quite been able to hang on to that one for whatever reason. I think loyalty being a bit of an issue for some strange reason, considering just the sheer population of these cities. I'm not entirely sure why that is a problem, but look at this. Check this out. They've actually pushed into the Russian peninsula as well, and this defensive, or this aggressive thing, the Spear of Floon that Russia were using, has actually become the worst nightmare for them, because as these modern armor armies roll past, they get the Spear of Floon upgrade and boost themselves up. And now, unfortunately for Russia, they're right on the doorstep of St. Petersburg. So Nubia now on the border of being able to take not only St. Petersburg, but also Canberra. In fact, they're probably, I'd say, about 10 turns away from being able to take both of them. So I told you, it's all progressing now. So here we are, turn 472. This is about as far as I can take the game because I've got work in the morning. It's like 11 in the evening and I can't let it run any longer. But here we go, here's the map. You can see Nubia did, well, it's done very well in its pursuit of Mapuche, as we saw previously. A couple of the city-states have fallen to it. Generally, Nubia, very effective on that front, and even Canberra has fallen, so Australia did lose its capital after all. And one thing you'll notice though, no nukes. No nukes have fallen, and actually, oh look, looks like Mapuche are finally going to get taken out of the game for once and for all. That's sad for them. Lastly, the only other front that mattered, the Russian front. Actually, weirdly, Russia and Nubia have made peace. St. Petersburg I thought was going to fall like 20 turns ago, and for whatever reason they're just not going for it. So one capital away from winning, and Nubia just thought, you know what, I'm not going to bother. And actually, I feel like that's a very poetic way to end the game, because Civ 6, they can't program a flipping game to work properly on domination only. Like, the AI should recognise that it's got to take all the capitals if that's the only victory type, and they still haven't done it, so there we go. Welcome to Civ 6, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you agree that I think Nubia is possibly the only victor that we could call in this game. I mean, the argument probably could be made for Mapuche, you know, strong contenders for most valuable player this game, but I mean, Nubia just fantastic victors for this series. Well done. Please, in the comments below, let me know, what would you like to see next? Would you like to see me play like a big Civ game with loads and loads of people in it? Would you like me to see another tournament? Do you want me to do a more specific thing? I was thinking maybe of having like a world with the new world, like the Americas, completely uninhabited, to see how people colonize it, you know, just weird things like that. So let me know what sort of thing you want to see. But until then, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I try not to hark on about it too much, but it's the final, so I'm going to do it. Thank you very much for watching. See you all next time.